Ain't no love like a real love, but it goes so fast. All tied up like a captive. I'm on to you. Used to pay to my mom life, standing on rainbows, playing it cool. I haven't felt this in ages, and I've no more patience. So won't you please stay a bit longer? You're making me stronger, making me stronger. Stay a bit longer. You're making me stronger, Cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now. Casting on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now. Open eye, feel the waves cut through me. Hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move. Can make me move. Can make me hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll go. What does perfect even mean? Is there even such a thing? Ooh, can we switch up all the rules and imagine a utopia? Darling, I'm just so fed up with these expectations. They keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm own, broken and alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Don't stare 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me, that's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head when you cried for me, hold your hand while the pain was over, keep you warm by the roaring sea. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. My darling dear, you're never here. When I'm in pain, you hide and disappear. Like shadows in the atmosphere, charting the stratosphere. Yeah. I prayed for you and kept you near, in hopes you'd chase away my fears. I'm on my own, you made it so, and now I'm chasing nightmares too. I used to run with you through the great big leaves, laugh at you when you laugh at me. Hope for us because I believe the home was just you and me. I thought you were the one for me, that's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me.
Do you remember how you held me then? Now you got me reaching out. And do you see you got me falling in more times than I can get out. Down in the deep of my mind, I crawl for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep of my mind, how long do I got to keep you, to keep you? Down in the deep of my mind, I crawl for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep of my mind, trying so hard not to keep you, to Oh, you make me wanna talk back to you. Say it like that. If I hate you, then find someone new. Baby, but you know I never will. No, so I choke you down just like a pill.
Never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. It feels right, it feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right. It feels right, it feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right. Going with the gut, never had a doubt, felt like this is just a must. Put me in perspective, I'm the deepest in the cut. Everybody tuning in, but this is just for us now. We know I ain't ballin' yet, hoes wanna holler, oh no, I don't call them back. Girl, let me see you hold it down, we gon' have a blast. Cause I just wanna know what you gonna do with all of that. Ain't gotta say a word, I know what's up. You can have it all, watch me rip it off. I'll admit it, you got me feeling hella loved. Even when it's going down, know that we gon' live it up. Young shot caller, always been a baller. Know that you the one, I can feel it in my heart, yeah. I won't stop charging me, go and come harder. I can see you and I, way beyond the stars, girl. I can never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. It feels right, it feels right, it feels right.
Rising with each beat of the music is bringing. We're flames in the fire that keeps burning. We're inviting the night in. Welcome, my heart so full. I'm devoting myself to the night. There's no motive. We're just listening. We're existing. We stay when the music plays. Let's drop below and the people sway.
A little bit of light, a little bit of gold. Under pressure, you start to fold like a diamond from cold. Maybe you are something I cannot define. Maybe you are the fallen kind. I lay in bed with violence, the silent side of me. We see where fire starts to breathe. When I would lay in silence, the voice inside of me made me use my mind right. Made me use my mind right.
We're gonna burn it down. Burn it down. We're gonna burn it down. Burn it down. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder.
I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker.
Show them. Change the station with a new shit. Show them.
toward me and looked so weak. I've never seen you with such tired eyes. And everything we said we'd be, we just traded for a suit coat and a tie. And underneath the rows of trees, I will see you where the ocean meets the sky. Under your toes, the fire grows. You are ready for a different kind of life. You're silent, bold, the wind is cold. You must return to the wild. You're silent, bold, the wind is cold. You must return to the wild.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul.
Crack it.
When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Clear sky. Where am I?
Without you, I remember myself, my name. Forgot about all you tried to change. Familiar was the sound of your voice as I continue to walk on by. It has been a year and now I'm living on the line. It has been a year and now I'm thinking what's mine, that I'm better off right here without you. That I'm better off right here without you. That I'm better off right here without you.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through eyes covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Tape my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Content, hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wake bells out.
Take the wrong and you make it right. Like a firefly, you're glowing at night. So don't make it hard, don't let me go. I wanna hold you tight when you're cold. I'm waiting for your love, you just keep me hanging on. I deserve to stay, and I will find my way. I will find my way.
The fire makes the city look so bright. Close your eyes and just stay tight. We have to go. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay with me while we leave. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay while we leave. Stay with me.
drown. Don't let me drown.
Okay, so we have a lot of Cloud Code updates to go through from the last 2 weeks. But before getting started, if you want to sign up to my brand new free Cloud Code newsletter, then that will be linked down below. You will get access to a bunch of free videos as well about how I'm currently using Cloud Code and some of my own workflows. Okay, now first of all, one of the biggest recent changes is they now made it easier to deal with Git work trees in Cloud Code. So first of all, you want to make sure you're on the latest version of Cloud Code by using Cloud Update, and then you can run Cloud Work Tree or just run Cloud-W and call it whatever you want. So I'm going to call it like assistant mode for my application Hyperwhisper, and this is my own speech to text application. Anyways, you can see now I made a brand new work tree, and I can have it implement one of my specs in a isolated branch, and then I can do the exact same thing on the right hand side with another spec that I have. And now I can have two features being implemented at the exact same time without these two sessions of Cloud Code interfering with one another. And then I can open up a pull request for this later on. Now you can take this further and have any subagents in Cloud Code being able to work in an isolated work tree as well. So a good use case here is that, for example, with my Cloud Code masterclass, which will be linked down below, it is the most comprehensive Cloud Code class online. If I wanted to make like 5 different variations of the landing page, then Cloud Code may install certain packages for one variation that's required, but that's not required for a different variation, or it might delete some components and move components around. Having all that implemented in the same folder file structure would get really complicated, and these different subagents would be stepping on each other's toes. So if we go to Cloud Code and give it a prompt kind of like this and tell each subagent to use its own work tree, then it will go ahead and do that for us. We can add this to the front matter of any agent that we always want to work in its own work tree. So for example, I could go to this subagent over here, just add it right to the top, isolation work tree, and then after calling that subagent, I can go and see in the .cloud worktrees folder for the project, it made agent-a722 blah blah blah. I can also see the previous changes that also happened and come back to any of these work trees if I were to exit Cloud Code and just put in the same name of that work tree. And bear in mind that now if you do /resume, then it will firstly show all the sessions in our current work tree, but then we can press Ctrl-W to show all work trees, including the default main branch. And then if you're trying to exit out of that session of Cloud Code, it will tell you you have 3 uncommitted files on that work tree, and you have the choice of either keeping the work tree or deleting it. So I'm going to keep the work tree for now so I can come back to it later. Now you can also combine work trees with tmux as well. So if you run claude-tmux normally, then it won't work. But if you run claude-work trees, I'm going to call it like research-tmux, then it will launch Cloud Code within tmux inside of the folder that you're currently in. So you can see this is our tmux session name, and the advantage here is that I now have many of the benefits of tmux. So if you've seen my video from 2 weeks ago about Cloud Code teams, if you have that inside of tmux, every single team member running in its own split pane. But we can also use the benefits of things run in the background even if you exit Cloud Code. So if I give it a research task, so for example my Cloud Code masterclass, if I copy the URL, paste into Cloud Code and say, can you tell me why this is the best Cloud Code masterclass on the internet right now? And then press enter. If I press Ctrl-B and then press colon, you can see at the very bottom over here, it's like in this orange section. If I type detach, press enter, then it will detach from that session of Cloud Code that was just running, and then I can reattach to it later and see that Cloud Code has continued working on it. So if I run the exact same command again on the exact same work tree with tmux, and now reattaching to the session, I can then see that Cloud Code went ahead and completed the research task in the background. Now, of course, you could have done these things before Cloud Code added this functionality, but these commands basically just make the whole process of using it much easier. Because if you use it with tmux, then you can have long running background agents, for example. If you want to do some testing, then you can basically do that in a work tree and not worry about it affecting any other tasks that are currently running. And if it goes sideways or like it doesn't work properly, then you can basically destroy that work tree by exiting out of the session and using that command. You can have different features being implemented in parallel, and the key benefit here is that firstly, for example, if you use plan mode with Cloud Code, then Cloud Code establishes, okay, we gotta find this file in this part of the code base, this file in this other part of the code base. But if you had 3 sessions of Cloud Code all editing the same file structure without work trees, then one could make a change or move a file around, and then the other 2 sessions would be confused, being like, okay, wait, this like suddenly changed. But by having it in separate work trees, the file structure stays constant until that thing has been implemented, and then you can commit that as a PR to merge into a main branch. You can also do like random investigations or testing with Cloud Code in a work tree and throw that away later. That includes like running a full test suite, for example. You can prepare a brand new PR without stashing and switching. So for example, if you're working on a like a big task and a colleague asks you to like make a quick change, you can just spin that up in a new session of Cloud Code inside a worktree and then update that PR, for example. And speaking of which, there is a brand new command, which is Claude -- from PR. So you can put in a PR ID. So let me make a new PR. I can then say I now have a conversation linked to this PR. Going to from PR, typing in 71, I can then load in that previous conversation that just happened that was linked to that PR. So that's like an easier way of basically finding previous sessions from Cloud Code. You can do the thing that I showed before where you can have different subagents implement different solutions without interfering with each other, installing different packages, removing different packages and so forth, and then make a brand new PR from whichever subagent solution that you like the most. So that makes experimentation much easier, like I showed with the early example of having different landing pages being created in different work trees. And finally, you can now hook into worktree events with worktree create and remove, which basically allows you to do things like installing packages, which may not be installed in some cases, injecting any config, or like adding anything to environment variable files. So the worktree could actually run locally if you require environment variables for it to run locally. And with worktree remove, once a worktree is deleted, you can stop any Docker instances that were created for that worktree and delete any temporary databases, caches, or files. If you do want to learn more about hooks, then I do cover that in my Cloud Code Masterclass in a whole new section about hooks. It will be linked down below. Okay, now in a limited research preview, Cloud Code added the ability to have it automatically scan your codebase and find security vulnerabilities. So they said that using Opus 4.6, they found over 500 vulnerabilities in open source codebases, bugs that had gone undetected for decades despite years of expert review. Now, unfortunately, I did not get early access to it, but this is kind of what it looks like behind the scenes. And I imagine they're using a different model in this version of Cloud Code compared to the one like on your computer, probably using a model that is less restricted when it comes to like identifying security vulnerabilities, which means I can probably identify more of them compared to you just having a security tester subagent inside of Cloud Code itself. Because this kind of stuff is a double-edged sword. Like the better the model gets at hacking, the better it gets at identifying security vulnerabilities. Now they did add a bunch more features to Cloud Code desktop application, the biggest of which is previews, where Cloud Code can run a website locally and then click through it to make sure that everything works as intended and take screenshots along the way. So let's quickly test it out. So clicking over here, you want to switch to local, and you can see they added the worktree functionality to desktop application too, and then choose your folder, and I'm going to do auto accept edits and then say, can you go to a landing page of the Next.js application after running the server locally and then test it to make sure all the buttons work as intended? And then if you click the button on the top right where it says preview, press setup, then it will start setting up a development server. And you can see we kind of have a browser-like functionality over here. And it also passed a command telling it how to set up a development server automatically. And this launch.json file will be saved for the future if you commit it to GitHub, so it will be faster at spinning up the environment in the future. Anyways, we can now see which server we need set up, so we're going to choose Next.js only. And then you can see it navigates to that particular website server, except it's kind of misplaced over here. And then I can see the logs at the very bottom for the server, and you can see it's still clicking around to make sure buttons work. I can switch it to a mobile device, so I can ask it to make sure that everything works well on the mobile as well. And then I can select a particular element. So let me just stop it from doing what it's doing. Select this element, for example, over here, and then it kind of like attach the image with the class ID as well, and say, change this to a green button, press enter. And now this button is green. So this can be pretty handy for design related work and also getting Cloud Code to click around and behave like a user for you to make sure things work as intended. So I can also do persist sessions as well, so that any cookies and local storage will be saved across server restarts, which can be pretty handy to prevent it logging in every time. And then I can do the reverse where I clear the session data so it will log in again. And now if I allow Cloud Code to make a PR, in addition to viewing the PR, I can see any CI monitoring, and I can set up like autofix, which basically means that any commands that have failed with the CI monitoring, it will automatically identify them and then fix them. And then doing auto merge, like once all the CI commands have passed successfully, then it will do the merge for me. Now, if you did make a change in the Cloud Code CLI and you wanted to move over to a desktop app to take advantage of the newer features like the element picker, then you can do /desktop in the CLI. It will then load that session into a desktop app, and then you can continue previewing it and stuff. They now also made it easier to view diffs on the desktop app, so you can press the view diff button over here, the like line count, and then you can see all the changes that were made and anything that was removed. You can click the plus icon on any line and then enter in a comment, and then submit that comment over to Cloud Code. So it will make those changes. So this can mean that you no longer need to use VS Code or Cursor just to view diffs, because you can do that in the Cloud Code desktop app by doing /desktop to move the session over, and then you can view the diffs on there. The desktop app now supports SSH connections, so you can go here, add SSH connection, and let me add one of my Hetzner servers. So if I fill in all the details over here, add SSH connection, connect, then I can see it's now connected. So I can go over here and choose any remote folders from the server. So I have this folder over here, and then say, can you make it a light theme, and then redeploy the application? And then this will basically connect Cloud Code to server and have it running on there. And this can save you a bunch of hassle in doing very quick commands on servers with Cloud Code. So often I just have very tiny side projects hosted for me and my friends online that I use Cloud Code to help manage. And if the projects are small enough, then I just get Cloud Code to make it directly on the server and don't bother using Git or anything else. So it now claims to have made all the changes. So let me refresh application. And yeah, it seems to be working just fine. We also now have support for plugins on the desktop application. So go into plugins. I can see that I already have one installed, which is a code simplifier one. I can then press add to add a plugin. So I'm going to choose the front-end design plugin, which is pretty popular, and install just for the project. And of course, when looking through plugins, I can see exactly what they contain. They now made it easy to share Cloud Code sessions via the desktop application and the website, so you can make a public link and then share it to any colleagues. They added a default skill called /debug, and you can put in any issues that you observed with Cloud Code, and it'll basically figure out why that issue is happening using the logs that are stored in your .cloud folder in your root directory. So for example, if you're just coding with Cloud Code and you notice the hook that you had set up did not trigger properly, you can just say like, why did this recent hook not trigger for like blocking migrations? And then after you identified the problem and you fixed it, you can then rewind the session to before you gave this particular command by doing /rewind. And just before that command, it was commit push over here, restore conversation. Likewise, if you do /rewind, you can now select a point and do a summarize from here. So Cloud Code will summarize a conversation, kind of like the /compact command up until that point, and then start a brand new conversation. So just pressing enter, it will compact it, and then we start a brand new chat. The Ask User Question tool in Cloud Code can now display Markdown. So if I say something like, can you suggest 4 different orders for the FAQ and how it should be displayed on the landing page? Show me a markdown of how it works, use the Ask User Question tool. So often that will happen automatically, but I'm just trying to force it to happen for the sake of demonstration. So it kind of looks like this. If you remember previously, the Ask User Question tool did not have this section over here, the right-hand section. But now if I switch between it, I can kind of see a few different options for how it should look. Unfortunately, it's kind of cut off at the bottom over here. So if I zoom out, then I can see like more of how this would be. So if you have a bigger monitor, that would be helpful. So if, let's say I wanted to go for this 2-column approach, I would press N, and then I can add in any notes. So say swap the columns and then press enter, and then it will start doing that. So you can ask for like tiny mockups in the Ask User Question tool for how things should be laid out. The recently acquired Bun team have been making a bunch of memory improvements to Cloud Code. So they say that the bash tool runs much faster and uses less memory. So on the desktop version of Cloud Code, you can use your /commands and skills. So I can use my spec developer /command. And now you can do the same thing on the web version of Cloud Code. So typing it out, I can see all the ones that I have over here. Let's do spec developer again, and that will load the skill that I have in this particular project. So this can be slightly better for interfacing with your skills if you don't like using the CLI. On the web version of Cloud Code, there is now multi-repo support. So I can add another repository over here, and then I can do like cross-repo work. So for example, I can say something like, copy the design of the FAQ part of the master Cloud Code landing page to the Hyperwhisper application. And pressing enter, I can see that I now have 2 repos that are going to be cloned, and it's going to like do the cross repo work. So I usually find this most handy when it comes to comparing 2 different repos to see how an implementation differs, or sometimes I find a better implementation for something and I want it quickly copied over from one project to another one. They now added support for using plan mode from the Claude Slack application. So you can add Claude and then say, can you plan some color scheme changes for the landing page? And then you can basically collaborate with your team on coming up with a plan for how something should be implemented. And finally, they added 2 more things to front matter of subagents. So if you do background : true, then that subagent will always run in the background. So you can see I just trigger the subagent, it's now running in the background, and I can actually kill all background agents by doing Control F twice. So Control F twice, all background agents killed. So that's also a new command. And subagents now also have memory. So that can be on the user level, project level, or local level. So that means that if you want a subagent to remember things from the previous time it had ran, then you can do like memory, so user, project, or local. So let me do project in this particular case, control save, and you may want to update the prompt for the subagent to tell it to make use of its memory, or just tell it directly when you're triggering it. So I can say, can you tell the subagent to basically write a poem into its memory? So in this particular case, the subagent declined the request for some reason, so I'll tell it to write something else. And then once the subagent has finished writing something into its memory, you can see there's a new agent memory folder in the .cloud folder for the project with the name of the agent, so macOS log analyzer, and this is its own memory.md file, which is injected into the subagent every time it runs. So this can solve the issue of having subagents remember something previously they did the last time they ran, but you may have to change your prompt for the subagent to tell it to make better use of this for whatever functionality you've given the subagent. So combining it with background true, you could have like self-improving, self-iterating, background research subagents, for example. Anyways, that's everything for the video. If you are interested in my Claude Code newsletter, then that will be linked down below. And you can also check out my Claude Code masterclass that goes through pretty much every single feature of Claude Code. Many people have taken the class and have gone on to be the best Claude Code users at that company and have even gotten promoted because of their newly learned Claude Code skills. Many of the biggest companies in the world are already using Claude Code and expecting proficiency in Claude Code to be a given like nowadays. I also recently added a class where I go through my own workflows or what I'm doing day to day when it comes to using Claude Code, and I will be updating over time on a month-by-month basis so you get a sense of what I'm currently doing and how I'm making use of many of the features that I have described to you. There will be a link down below if you are interested, and if you want to buy the class for your team as well, there will be another page for that, and you can also book a call as well to like discuss any requirements.
Now, like most people who get diagnosed with ADHD later in life, the diagnosis, the road to that diagnosis begins with us. We make a discovery ourselves. We read something or we get talking to somebody and something sets the cogs turning and we start putting two and two together. It's not the sort of disorder where you sort of be walking through a medical practitioner's office and they go, oh my God, look at him, he's got ADHD. Somebody pull up a couch, let's diagnose him. It's actually much more mundane than that. And in fact, it's one of the reasons why lots of adults never get diagnosed in the first place, because people are not looking for it. And one of the questions that I asked myself as soon as I had this inkling in my brain that I had ADHD, before I was officially diagnosed with it, was what the hell is it like to take these drugs that are used to treat it? Ritalin and Adderall are of course quite famous drugs, and they were the two brand names that popped into my head when I started thinking about the medication, and I honestly wondered what on earth it was like to take these things and how they helped. And so that's what I wanted to talk about today. So if you're at the start of your ADHD journey and you're thinking about going and seeing somebody to find out for sure, then allow me to explain how it is taking a stimulant from my perspective. So a little caveat, of course, at the start, everybody is different. We'll have different physiologies, different blood types, all sorts of stuff going on that I really have no great understanding of. Now, it's funny, of course, that we take a stimulant for a disorder which has the word hyperactivity in the name. It doesn't make a lot of sense when you think about it, but the truth is that the hyperactivity is the result of understimulation in the brain, and so we take a stimulant to raise those stimulant levels to sort of baseline average brain levels. Our ADHD brains are not producing enough dopamine, which is the drug that provides this stimulation. It's a neurotransmitter, a really, really important chemical messenger in the brain, and if you have ADHD, you just don't make enough of it. And so the stimulants help you with that. Now, the first time I took Ritalin, I honestly had no idea what to expect. I didn't know if I'd get sort of high or I'd sort of bounce off the walls. I didn't know it would make me sick. And it's for this reason that when you start taking a medication like this, the medical professionals do a process called titration, where you start on a very low dose and you work your way up and up and up in dosage until it stops having further beneficial effects. So on the momentous day when I sat down at my work desk and for the first time took a stimulant drug, Ritalin, with my morning coffee, I have to say I was distinctly underwhelmed. And so actually I felt absolutely nothing. There was no kind of buzz. I didn't sort of start bouncing off the walls or anything. And it wasn't until about sort of 90 minutes to 2 hours later that I realized that what it had done very subtly was kind of tune down the background noise, the distractions around me. And when I looked at my computer screen after that time, I realized I'd basically just been plowing through my work for about sort of an hour straight, which is absolutely unheard of for me. Now, over time, my dosage of Ritalin has increased. I didn't stay on 10 milligrams for very long, let me tell you, because I found it ran out, expired, finished working pretty quickly. And now I'm getting on for sort of 80 to 90 milligrams of Ritalin a day. I take my Ritalin in 10 milligram pills, and I really like this method of taking them because it means I can tweak the dose according to what I've got going on in my life. So for instance, if I'm just going out for the day and there's no great need for me to be super switched on and clued in and focused on a task, then there's really no point in taking them and I don't bother. However, when I do take them, and I'm now sort of a year into my little ADHD journey with Ritalin, I found that the way it works is it enables you to concentrate on singular thoughts in your mind instead of multiple ones. But of course, it's not just the focusing on a task that Ritalin helps with. It's also beginning the task in the first place. And this was a huge one for me because endless times, I would be asked to do stuff and it just wouldn't get done because with the ADHD brain, the unstimulated ADHD brain with the very low dopamine levels, it's just impossible to summon up this magical willpower to do a task if it doesn't interest you. And those of us with ADHD know that when something does interest us, we have absolutely no problem in getting stuck into it. In fact, people talk a lot about this hyper-focused state where we're super interested in something and we kind of zone in on it, and there's this so-called ADHD superpower. And so there's this twofold positive effect from the Ritalin for me, which is firstly that I can begin a task if it doesn't interest me overly, and secondly it means I can persist at the task hopefully until it's done. Now, the Ritalin doesn't make you suddenly enjoy jobs that aren't interesting, but that's never really been the problem for any of us with this issue. We understand that there are things that we have to do. We're self-aware. I know that I have to do some work that may not necessarily be the most interesting thing in the world because I've got a mortgage to pay and bills to pay and groceries to go and buy and all that kind of stuff. And so we have to do these things. We know that. That has never been the issue. We're self-aware. The issue has been this inability that we're incapable of just getting going and powering on through it. And so if I was asked, what it was like to take Ritalin, I'd say it was just the most normal thing in the world. What it does is make an ADHD brain much more like a sort of typical average human brain. It just lifts us up to the baseline level. So basically, for the duration of the time in which that medication is having its effect, we're exactly like everyone else, or pretty close to it. And so feeling constantly distracted by stuff and being unable to apply myself to stuff is just normal for me. That's the way I was for the vast majority of my life. I got diagnosed at the age of 53, which was about 18 months ago. And taking Ritalin is weird for me in the sense that I've never been able to tune out those distractions. And I've got an insight now that I take this medication into what everybody else has been able to enjoy all their lives. So when I take my pills, I don't hear the air conditioning unit quite so much. I don't hear the rain on the roof quite so much. I don't hear the car horn blaring in the street as much. I don't hear overheard conversation as much. Don't get rid of it all. It's not magical. You don't get into some sort of tunnel zone where only you and the thing you've got to do are sort of present. It doesn't do that. It tunes it out. It turns it down. Now, not long after I got my diagnosis, I went back to see my psychiatrist and had a sort of follow-up conversation about how I'd been since taking the Ritalin, and we talked about upping my dosage because I told him that it wasn't lasting long enough to have a sort of meaningful effect on my working day. And he laid a little trap for me during that conversation because he said to me, you've got to be careful that you don't take too much because it might affect your sleep patterns. And I said to him that actually I'd never slept better since I'd been taking these pills, and I could take them before going to bed and sleep like a baby. And he said, well, there you go. That kind of proves the diagnosis, because somebody who does not have this chronically unstimulated, dopamine-deprived brain, if they take Ritalin, it would kind of take them up over the top. They would be overstimulated, they would be hyperactive, they would be bouncing off the walls, and they certainly wouldn't be getting much sleep. So if you've been thinking about getting yourself diagnosed and you're wondering what it was like to take Ritalin, that's my take on it. as I said, it's my personal view and the way it affects me. It affects everybody slightly differently, I guess, but the core of it is simply that it boosts dopamine levels in the brain. It's not an evil thing, and if you're a parent and you're looking at this video because you're thinking about getting this medication.
Well, one like side recommendation I have is like, don't worry about like squirreling money away for retirement in like 10 or 20 years. It won't matter.
No.
Okay.
Either we're not going to be here, or
it just like it's you won't need to save for retirement. If any of the things that we've said are true, saving for retirement will be irrelevant.
the services will be there to support you. You'll have the home, you'll have the healthcare, you'll have the entertainment.
The way this unfolds is fundamentally impossible to predict because of self-improvement of the AI and the accelerating timeline.
Yeah, it's called
Any
singularity
solution-
for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what goes happen. What happens after the event horizon? You know?
Exactly. You can never see past the black hole or the event horizon, the light cone.
I mean, Ray has the singularity out way too far. I mean, this is like the next, what's your timeline for this?
We're in the singularity.
Well, we are in the singularity for sure.
Yeah.
We're in the midst of it right now for sure.
Yeah.
And it would just
Well,
feels
we're in
flat.
this beautiful sweet spot, which is the
we're on the roller coasters. We're just
exactly. That's a great analogy. It's like that feeling.
You're at the top of the
"Whoa."
roller coaster and you're about to go.
Yeah, but it's going to be a lot of G's when you
a lot of
when you
Gs.
hit it.
Yeah.
It's like feel like I don't have to just have courtside seats. I'm on the court.
Exactly.
And it still blows my mind. Sometimes multiple times a week.
Yeah.
So just when I think I'm like, wow, and then it's like 2 days later, more wow.
Yeah. Exponential wow.
Yeah, I think we'll hit AGI next year in 26. Yeah. Well.
not lose it. Do not fucking lose it. Do not fucking lose it! You fucking piece of shit! You fucking wankers! You absolute wankers! You absolute fucking wankers! I swear to God! I fucking hate this team! I fucking hate you! I hate you! Why? Why? Fuck! You bastards! Not lose it. Do not fucking lose it. Do not fucking lose it! You fucking piece of shit! You fucking wankers! You absolute wankers!
Okay. Can't really beat Emma, but and the reason it goes to an A for me is it doesn't have very many famous alum. It doesn't.
Sorry,
not really
Young?
not really known for many people.
Thomas Young?
Yeah, exactly. So
Emma Siddy, the comedian on Taskmaster?
and you're
Bobby Seagull?
and you're next to Christ, which has Darwin, and therefore I think they beat you on those grounds. So I think the reason why Emma is an A for me is that it's just not quite got a strong enough individual identity. So it's an A. But if you're going to put it as an S, yeah.
Sorry, I already put it as S. Do you know who Ali Abdaal is? I'd put Emma in S. Let's move on.
Yeah, that's fine. It's a lovely college, Emma.
If you could deport people who supported like more immigration and leftist policies.
If I were in charge, there wouldn't be any voting. Let's just get that straight. We're talking about the reality that we're working with. And in my view, deporting people that are citizens, that's just never going to happen. But drastically limiting immigration, I think that is in the cards.
Okay, I would contest the same way that you say deporting people who are citizens was never going to happen. I think if we're going at it from a purely practical standpoint, I don't think this complete moratorium on immigration would happen.
Well, then we
either.
just disagree on that. But there's no inconsistency.
Okay, but then if we get down to this idea, I guess so. If we're doing this for more of a thought experiment purpose and less for a feasibility legality purpose, if you were allowed to, if you were Supreme Dictator Nick Fuentes of America, would you want to remove necessarily people who supported policies?
I don't debate hypotheticals. I think that's ridiculous.
You think that's ridiculous?
I'm not interested in hypotheticals.
Well, hypotheticals allow us to judge your logical train of thought.
Oh, really? No. I think it's uninteresting, and I think it's unimportant what I would do. Because if I were in charge, things would be so drastically different. And if we're talking about the hypothetical, I would have to assess our security posture and the military and the police, and there would be a lot of
I'm interested
things.
in hearing all about that.
Yeah. We're just interested. I don't understand why we can't argue with the facts. Let me just ask you straight up. What are you getting at with a question like that? I'm just curious.
What am I getting at? I'm genuinely curious. If you have
what
any
hypothetically I would do if I ran the country, that sounds like remarkably irrelevant for the debate we're in.
Well, no, it's not remarkably irrelevant because you're pushing for policies that would support your type of ideology being in the White House.
This has nothing to do
ideally
with ideology.
Correct.
This has nothing to do with ideology.
Well,
and
no,
we're
but
talking about policy. We're talking about issues. We're talking about policy.
So you would want your policies to be
and my policy is not removing people that are citizens. So
okay, so you would never support that type of policy.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that's we just need to understand we're going to go in a policy debate, right? Which is what this is, right?
You're just baiting me. I mean, let's stop
not baiting at all.
You could do this thing and say, "Oh no, I'm not asking a leading question." Oh no, I'm not possibly implying it.
I'm genuinely wondering.
Nick, come on,
you said you wouldn't remove people who are legal citizens because they're legal citizens.
Yeah, correct.
That's circular.
Because that is against the law.
Laws stem from morals. You want to make immigration
incoherent.
Legal. You want to change the law.
And you're asking a leading question based on something that I'm not saying. We're talking about millions of people coming here every year, and you're asking me questions about removing citizens because they don't vote a certain way. I'm in favor of stopping this demographic transformation, and that's it. Okay. Are you an immigrant, by the way? Just out of curiosity.
Am I an immigrant?
What's your background?
We're all immigrants. But
what's your background?
What's my background? I am German and Irish and Scottish.
Okay, so then why? So what's your problem? You think that we're going to create a great nation out of all these people throughout the world? Do you think that it's going to be the same nation? Let me just start asking you questions.